future. Human error. Evolution. This is the future. Evolution.
Here we are again. Today I'm flying the F-104G, the Chinese variant. If you are curious how the other F-104s stack up against each other, I will link you to a video in the top right corner where I discuss every difference between all the F-104s. The F-104A and the F-104C are still a different BR here, but what I'm saying is still essentially the same. So how is this thing? It's not the fastest, it doesn't turn the best, but it has amazing missiles and it has 4 of them. Unfortunately so, you don't have the sparrows like the F4E, so if you're really looking for the best top tier, you can stop right here. I'm grinding stuff for this thing because it's, well, brain that easy. I have 4 AIM-9Js and I can just lob them on people and get some free experience points, which is exactly what I'm doing. I missed the first one because I kind of misjudged his angle. I thought it was going to cut into him, I thought he was slower. Unfortunately so, he wasn't, and thus my missile went too short and it flew on behind him. Just holding him a little. You have the Vulcan, you have 650 rounds, which is more than enough to kill half the enemy team. The Vulcan is amazing. The problem is that you burn through ammo rather quickly because of course the Vulcan has that wind up time, and because of that you can't really tap fire. Of course you can tap fire by holding the trigger and then releasing it the moment it starts shooting, but it is extremely hard to time, and I advise you to start pulling it up just before you get the shot. You might spray a little bit more ammo than you want to, but if you're so ammo conservative that you start missing and not hitting shots, you might actually burn through ammo quicker by trying to be ammo conservative. And here I missile the MiG-21 first because he's clearly occupied trying to go for the F-100, so he won't be seeing the missile. His F4E is extremely slow and he won't be able to dodge it, so I just lob a missile at him as well. And that's 2 out of the match, just like that. Other guy crashes in the background, almost got rammed by a teammate, and we continue on our merry way because you don't want to start turn fighting in this thing unless it's one-on-one, and that of course goes for every top tier, but I like to say that whenever I get the chance anyway. So I roll over, I'm dropping on top of the F-104 here. He's clearly like occupied taking a shot on the other guy. So right now I'm really close to him. F-104S outperforms me quite handily. I'm just very slow on him. Just shoot a missile at him because he's gonna fly around on one wing, and that's kill number 3. 3 kills down, no guns used, but the missiles are of course very handy for those quick engagements, because at the start of the game you really want to play the team game in top tier and you want to dwindle the enemy numbers down as fast as you can, because of course it is a team game, and if your team isn't winning in top tier, very big chance your game looks a little bit like this. You look behind yourself, you see 4 people, they all launch a missile at once, you start dodging, you dodge 3 missiles, and then the last one is invisible and shoots you out of the air anyway. And I don't think that's very enjoyable. So I think we go back to using the missiles as fast as we can, maybe keep 1 for the late game, but in general I think you're much better off trying to kill people as fast as you can, because if you kill a guy that still has 3 or 4 missiles left, you might have just saved 4 of your teammates and that might win you the game. So I do advise you to use the missiles as fast as you can. Of course this depends on the scenario, and if you're wasting them then you might as well not use them, but if you get these sure shots, get rid of your missiles, they save weight, and you get a guy out of the match, which might potentially lose you the game. And again, we're just extending away, because that's what you do at top tier. You fly straight, you keep your energy, you go head on, you shoot a missile at someone that's dogfighting, and you go straight again, and you go head on. Which is very interesting indeed. The F-104 is one of those planes that is a little bit more of a niche. It's very good at actually low speed dogfighting, believe it or not, because well, for some reason this thing has insane lift at low speeds. That doesn't mean of course you should start dogfighting Mirages, because that's a fight you're definitely not going to win. What I'm doing here is making him do a complete 360, and by the time he gets his nose on me again, he will have lost so much energy that I can easily run away from him. And in this case I can also run away from the T2, because he's also shooting missiles at me, but he shouldn't be able to catch me here. And I'm outrunning him even though he's doing a slight lead pursuit, so that's good. Just extending, waiting for my friendly to come in behind him. Keep an eye on all your friendlies and your enemies as well, because you don't want to get jumped at top tier, because if you get jumped, big chance they have a missile, big chance you're just dead. I'm zooming into the clouds here. I know the F4E is spotted and I suspect I'm spotted as well. Shoot a little short burst in the head-on. Get out of the way. I don't want to deal with that F4E. He's much tankier than I am and we have the same gun. So it's not a head-on that I'm really happy about taking. You could argue that I'm a lot slimmer than them, therefore I'm harder to hit in the head-on, but it also means that if he does hit me, there's a very big chance he will cripple my plane completely, because it's also jam-packed together. Now the F-104S is on the enemy, so what do? I start a very gradual turn. I will stay under the clouds so that he can missile me. He notices the F-104 on his 6 and he's going to spike the Mirage. I'm not confident this F-104 is going to kill the Mirage, so I was ready to spike him. Luckily he took him down. Mirages are definitely some of those planes you don't really want to fight in this thing. They're just highly maneuverable and those magics are an absolute pain in the ass to dodge. As we all know, those things are ridiculous and you don't want them anywhere near your ass. And now it's just a matter of extending away again, as you do in top tier. Just closing the distance. I'm trying to stay with at least one of my teammates. The F-104S to me is more valuable to the guy in front of me. Unfortunately so, that cost him his life. But in the end we did win this game because we stuck together. There's still a few people left. And it's just a matter of cleaning up right now. I don't want to use too much fuel. I don't want to use my afterburner too much. I'm going fast enough and I want to afterburn when I need to. Instead of running out of fuel and then losing the game because of that, which is a shame. Especially when you have this much ammo left. You have enough ammo to kill the enemy team, but you don't have the fuel. It's one of the most frustrating things in this game. That's why I will always run just a little bit more fuel than the enemy. Depends on the plane, of course. But in general, I will try to take 30 minutes over 20 minutes. Because it just gives me a lot more leeway. And in top tier, you're not really dogfighting a lot anyway. Right now I'm on 5 minutes of fuel. I'm not too worried about dogfighting this F4. Not too sure where the other enemies are. But I want to force this guy slow as the F-104 is coming in. F-104 zooms away. But now we're sandwiching this F4E. Which makes it so that he has to do something. He's kind of pincered here. It's 2v1. If he tries to stick on that F-104, he's not going to get very far because he's probably on lower fuel than I am. And if he turns around for me, then the other F-104 can turn around and run him down. Because the F-104S is of course the best accelerating and fastest 10.7 right now. So I'm just catching him because he's trying to catch the F-104S. F-104S is baiting him perfectly because we're alone on the map right now. Tried a little bit, shoot a little bit too low, shoot a little bit too high. I cut my afterburner to not pass out, stay behind him, and now he's basically dead. Got a spark on his wingtip, poorly aimed anyway, only hit like 1 or 2 shells. But at this point there's nothing he can do other than hope his teammate will save his ass. Newsflash, they won't. They're all back to the airfield, because they were low on fuel. Tap him out of the air. 3.5 minutes of fuel left and I'm opting to go back to base or play it hyper aggressively as I rush their base and intercept them as they take off. They will be on very high fuel loads compared to us, and if I turn around right now they will strafe me as I'm taking off or maybe even landing, so I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to be pretty ballsy here. I'm just going to be rushing in, turn the afterburner off. I'm going fast enough as it is. I will catch them as they will be going about 900, which is still a respectable speed, but it's nowhere near what I'm doing. So here comes the first guy, spotted, MiG-19, not the worst plane to fight, unfortunately, so I don't have missiles and I only have 2 minutes of fuel left, so I want to stick it in this head-on. Much easier for me to aim that one, shoot something off, don't know what it is, notify my teammate it's a crit, so it doesn't really matter. Before he even reached him, he flew into the ground. And here comes another plane, T2, just took off, going pretty fast already, of course, because it's top tier, the acceleration is bonkers, and this was the plan here. Missed the head-on, that wasn't the plan. The plan was to be hyper aggressive and turn after them, because I will outperform the living hell out of this guy now. He's shooting at the F-104, he's probably trying to get a kill in, because there's 2 of us and only 1 of him. But the moment he starts extending away, look at it, I'm just catching him now. My fuel load is very low, my acceleration is through the roof, he is still on the full bag of fuel, and I will easily run this guy down. 1 minute of fuel left, rapidly catching him. Turn my afterburner off, I don't need it. Look at this shot. He's very slow. I try to turn, T2 doesn't turn that well. I do compared to him. He's on fire and there's basically nothing he's going to do anymore. Just shoot him afterburner because he's not going to put that fire out. I just want to make sure that I stall above him and I don't get missiled by him. And that's game. 6 kills. He's going to burn into the ground. And that's a little bit of a carry. I know I don't normally upload top tier. After the new patch drops, I might play it a bit more because it just looks so good that I can't leave my hands off it. Right now I'm just trying to burn through all the footage that I have, because well, I don't want to use my old footage when the new patch drops because it's gonna look so substantially different. I want to try to crank out as many videos as I can before that happens, so you can actually watch up-to-date videos. Of course, if I don't manage to get through everything and there are some things I still want to show you, I will still show you, but in general I want to more focus on the better looking stuff. Hope you enjoyed it, see you all very soon and have a nice evening.